All right. And we are live. Welcome, everyone. Ah, welcome to a new week. Welcome to new opportunities. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the OrganizedPreneur Podcast. I'm now doing these episodes live on Facebook and YouTube. I'm trying this new way of showing up for my listeners. And so it will go live on Facebook, on my Organizedpreneur Facebook page, as well as my YouTube Organizedpreneur Facebook page. And then the following day, it will be on Spotify, because as you know, on Facebook, when you go live, it's only there for 30 days. So you definitely want to make sure that you tap in to, if you're not able to join me, Chaos into Order and launching 3 podcasts, I decided to combine those experiences to share my insider tips and proven strategies so that you can avoid live. Welcome to another episode. I am your host, Aldreama Harper. And I'm very excited today because I'm going to be talking a little bit about AI. But here is the topic. I'm going to give you the topic first, right? Why we are working more and not less with AI. Why we're working more and not less with AI. So, all right. So I'm your host, Aldreama Harper, podcast launch strategist and business system consultant. And today we're diving into something that I know many of you are probably feeling. This is something that many of us are feeling. We're feeling it, but we're not always talking about it, especially since AI has arrived. And that is, we're working more, not less. AI is supposed to help us work less, right? But when AI tools first started showing up a few years ago on the scene, we were sold a big old promise. Freedom, efficiency, more time for what matters the most. The marketing said things like, let AI handle it. Work smarter, not harder, right? But what really happened, instead of giving us more space, AI has actually added to our workload. How many of you, so you can just, type in the chat if you're watching this live on the socials, type in the chat if you feel like you're working more or if you feel like it's added to your workload. There's a fascinating example from a channel 4 in the UK. Okay, they made television history by introducing an AI news anchor by the name Aisha Gabon. Check it out. I'll put the link in either in the show notes or in the description below this video. And she presented an entire documentary about AI's impact on employment. And the viewers didn't even realize that she wasn't human until the end. And the documentary asked a big question. Will AI take our jobs? Some people feel like it. A lot of people feel like it. But the real answer was more complicated than yes or no. Because the truth is, AI isn't taking jobs. It's just changing the way we work. Think about that. You got to work differently when you're using AI. So, according to research, AI adoption among small businesses jumped to 68% in 2024 and 80% to those businesses said AI enhances their teams instead of replacing them. So it jumped 80% according to research. That sounds good, right? But then dig deeper, because a different story emerges. Researchers found that while people feel more productive with AI, they also feel a little overwhelmed. And I can really attest to that because I use AI a lot, right? And my clients use AI. I try to teach them, how to use AI, and I have a lot of colleagues that use AI. But the reason that a lot of us feel overwhelmed with AI is because by the time you save time in one area, another area gets filled up somewhere else, right? Like you finished a task faster, so you take on more. You just take on more. Well, I got some more free time now, so I'll just do more in, another area. You automate your posts, so you spend more time checking analytics. You use AI to brainstorm content. I do, right? And so you end up creating 3 times as much. So it's like this efficiency trap, right? Where we become better at doing more, not at doing less. And so if you are a solopreneur like myself, then perhaps you're thinking, okay, I'm doing more. I'm not doing less. I'm just doing more, but I'm getting more done, right? And that's the trap. Now, I'm certainly not saying that that's a bad thing. And I'm all about using data, right? To tell the truth, not just hype, right? Here's another thing that data shows is that studies show that AI can increase productivity by 5 to 25%, especially for less experienced workers. But here's the catch. Yes, there's a catch. If employees use AI to finish tasks faster without telling their bosses, without their bosses noticing, they often spend that extra time on the job doing leisure things. But now, for solo entrepreneurs, though, that really doesn't apply. Like for solo entrepreneurs, you're the boss. So instead of taking a break, you fill that saved time with more work. Your to-do list grows. I can tell you, honestly, that has happened to me. That my to-do list has grown. But I think the thing is when you think about, using AI, because there's that learning curve and there's that, need to want to know more about how to use it more efficiently. And I think that time is going to fill up, right? But then the AI freedom starts to feel like just another full-time job. And I must say this, I'm okay with it because I mean, I love what AI does in terms of helping me in my business, right? But it can be a trap. It really can be what I call that complexity trap. Now, let's talk about something that I call, well, like I said, the hidden complexity trap. Because, and here's why I call it the complexity trap. It's because AI doesn't run by itself. It doesn't run itself. You got to set it up. You got to train it. You got to maintain it, right? You have to manage, prompts, refine your outputs, save content, clean up the data, check for accuracy, all of those things. So you're not just using the tool, you're managing it. And so that's when it kind of feels like you're doing more because it really is a complexity cost. It's a hidden complexity cost. That's what I wanted to say. And so if you ever find yourself saying, well, I just spent an hour trying to make ChatGPT understand what I meant. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you just started working with, ChatGPT or some of the other, AI tools, again, you got to set it up, you got to train it, and you got to maintain it. You got to manage the prompts, you got to refine it, save the content, clean up the data, all of the things. And that's where it becomes complex. And that's the cost. And that's not freedom. That's just another workflow layer. All right. So for those of us like myself who have service-based businesses, especially, when you're, an online brand, you're working in this online space, this paradox matters very, very deeply because you didn't adopt AI to do more. You adopted it to do better. You wanted to, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I wanted to gain more time for strategy, creativity, and connection. And I believe that that's what it's designed to do. That's what it's designed to help us to do. It helps us in creating that time for creativity, right? And so not just get bogged down with another layer of complex stuff, right? And so I know a lot of you are experiencing that. So many of us, like myself, are experiencing more management, more content, more complexity. So the real question becomes, will it take our jobs? Yeah. I think of it this way. Okay, so the real question isn't whether it will take our jobs. It's more, is AI making us better entrepreneurs or just busier ones? I really want you to think about that. Is it about being better or just busy? And that is a productivity trap that even before AI, a lot of people will fall into that trap where they think, okay, I'm doing stuff, but I'm not moving the needle in my business, right? And so the truth about it is, and this is what I want you to walk away with, is that AI really isn't the problem. The lack of a system is the problem. Okay. Because entrepreneurs who thrive in this era won't be the ones that's using the most tools. Trust me. And I'm one of those that's really a sucker for technology and gadgets and apps and all of those type of things. I really do have to manage that much better than I have been. And I've actually gotten better. And so because I want to be better at thriving in this new era. And, I don't want to be just using more tools. And so I've really gotten better actually at resisting, more having to use more tools. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about that, drop something in the chat or send me a note or something if you're watching this live. And if you'd like to know more about what I'm using, I'm actually using two tools that I use. One is Northflow and one is Alchemy. So, but that's not what this is about. I just want you to wrap your head around how to get better and not just be busy. Okay. And so what that means is you don't need every new app. You just need the right one that fits your workflow. You don't need 10 prompts. You need just the ones that move your business forward. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be present where your audience listens to you and trusts you, because productivity without peace really isn't productivity at all. Let that sink in. Okay? Okay, pumpkin. So before I close, I really want you to just take a moment to reflect on this question. Okay. What did you actually want AI to give you? And has it delivered? Okay. And you can answer that in the question below if you're watching it live or the replay. If your answer feels like, not yet, that's okay. That's okay. Because it's not about less technology. It's just about using it smarter. Because with the right systems, AI can be a partner in your purpose, okay, and not drain your peace. That's not what you want. That is not what you want. So, all right. So I would really like to know how you're feeling about AI and is it helping you to do better? Answer those questions. I would love to know below. If you're watching this again on Facebook, if you're watching it on YouTube, or if you're checking it out on Spotify, which it'll be loaded up on Spotify because Facebook will leave your lives out there for 30 days. So I really appreciate you all listening and continuing to be present and subscribing, to the OrganizedPreneur Podcast. And so if this has resonated with you, I really appreciate it when you do subscribe, whether it's on Spotify or any of the podcasting platforms, you'll be able to find me. Just look up the OrganizedPreneur Podcast. If you're on Facebook, OrganizedPreneur. If you're on YouTube, OrganizedPreneur. All right? So until then, remember, stay organized, stay focused, and let peace lead your productivity. All right. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll talk to you soon. Have an amazing day.